Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show that really tries to cut through the noise for you.
Get straight to the insights.
Exactly. You know how it is with these financial reports, press releases, board meeting stuff? It can feel like wading through a jungle.
Right. Very dense.
Yeah, full of numbers, jargon. Trying to find the real story can be tough.
But that's why we're here,
Yeah,
to kind of give you that shortcut.
absolutely. So in this deep dive, we're focusing on a company making some serious waves in India's digital services space. BLS E-Services Ltd. They've just released their Q1 FY26 numbers. That's for the quarter ending June 30, 2025. Financials, operations, the whole picture.
And our job today, for you, our listener, is basically to pull out the really important bits, the key takeaways from their investor presentation, the press releases, all of that.
Right. We want to highlight, what's driving their growth, their big strategic moves, and what it all means for digital services in India.
And hopefully make it engaging, easy to follow.
Okay, let's dive in then. Let's unpack this. What are the absolute headline numbers from BLS E-Services Q1 results, the ones that immediately make you go, wow?
Well, what's really fascinating, I think, is just the sheer scale of the growth. Their total income, it absolutely skyrocketed.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah. Over 251 crore rupees. It's more than triple what it was in Q1 last year. A year-on-year increase of over 200%.
100%. Wow, okay.
Exactly. And their profit after tax, the PAT, that also saw a pretty healthy jump, almost 40% year-on-year, hitting 17.5 crores.
So strong profit growth too, not just revenue.
Definitely. And their EBITDA, that strengthened quite a bit too, up 33.5% to nearly 25 crores. It paints this picture of, really explosive growth, but also improving operational strength.
Okay. And these numbers are solid, audited.
Well, they're unaudited consolidated results, but they were reviewed by the audit committee and approved by the board on August 4th. So they carry significant weight. They show a clear direction.
Right, okay. A 200% income jump. That is staggering. What on earth drove that kind of surge? This is where it gets really interesting, I think. Beyond those big top-line numbers, what specific things did they do? What strategic decisions, what business developments fueled this Q1?
Well, the management themselves actually pointed to a couple of key things. A big one was the expanded scale of their Business Correspondents segment.
Okay, the BC segment.
Right. And a large part of that expansion came from a strategic acquisition they made, Fidelis Solutions.
Ah, Fidelis. When did they acquire them?
That deal closed back in November 2024. So, that directly impacts the year-on-year comparison for this quarter, Q1 FY26 versus Q1 FY25. It wasn't in last year's numbers.
Got it. So a big piece of the growth puzzle came from buying another company. Did they keep that acquisition strategy going this quarter? Any new deals?
They absolutely did. Yeah. Just recently, they signed a definitive agreement to acquire a bunch of customer service points CSPs from another company, Sub-K Impact Solutions.
CSPs, those are the local touch points, right? The small shops or kiosks.
Exactly. Often run by individuals in rural or semi-urban areas. Places where people can access essential banking, pay bills, get digital services.
And this Sub-K deal, how big is it?
The consideration is around 6.5 crore rupees. And it's expected to significantly strengthen BLS's own CSP network, particularly in states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Rajasthan, Maharashtra.
So extending their reach on the ground.
Precisely. They estimate it could help them serve nearly 5 million more customers. It really shows their commitment to that last mile. And it perfectly illustrates their phygital strategy, that blend of physical presence and digital capability.
Right. Physical plus digital. Makes sense.
It's still subject to customary approvals, of course, but it's a clear signal of intent.
Okay, so acquisitions are definitely a major growth engine. What about the core business correspondent model itself? Did that grow organically too? Any standout numbers there?
Oh, definitely. Their gross transaction value, the GTV, that's the total value of all transactions flowing through their network.
Right.
That grew to over 26,200 crore rupees in Q1 FY26.
Which is
Up significantly from just over 20,000 crores in Q1 last year.
Okay, solid growth.
But here's what's really remarkable within that GTV number. The loan distribution component.
Ah.
In Q1 last year, they facilitated about 780 crores in loans. This quarter, approximately 7,200 crores.
Wait, from 780 crores to 7,200 crores?
Yep, nearly a tenfold increase.
Wow, that's huge. What does that tell us?
It signals a pretty fundamental shift, I think. It shows how crucial platforms like BLS are becoming for distributing financial products, especially loans, into rural and semi-urban India. They're really enabling access.
So they're connecting lenders with borrowers at the grassroots level.
Exactly. And they've been actively building this. They onboarded over 10,000 new retailers this past quarter. They've signed strategic partnerships like with Bajaj Finserv for EMI cards, rolled out new loan types with HDFC Bank.
So expanding products and partners.
Right. Plus operational initiatives like re-KYC for dormant accounts, generating loan leads via bank systems, new incentives for their agents using micro ATMs, even a specific focus on increasing the number of women CSPs.
That focus on women CSPs is interesting. Financial inclusion in action.
It really is. And this kind of deep embedding at the grassroots, this aggressive expansion, it's getting noticed. They picked up the Times Business Award for Financial Inclusion recently and a BW FinTech Award too.
Okay, so massive expansion on the financial inclusion side, driven by acquisitions and organic growth, especially in loans. But you mentioned they want to be a one-stop solution. Are they moving beyond just banking and financial services?
They certainly are. Diversification seems key to their strategy. They want to be that comprehensive go-to-market platform.
So what else are they getting into?
Well, e-governance is another big vertical for them. They've just started a new project in Chhattisgarh, for example. It's about digitizing sub-registrar offices.
Land records and things like that.
Exactly. Streamlining land record registrations, making it more transparent, easier for citizens. That's a huge area where digital services can make a real difference.
Definitely. Anything else on the eGov front?
They've also activated Aadhaar enrollment services as part of the Rajasthan Mitra project. Again, bringing essential government-related services closer to people through their network.
Okay, so financial services, government services, any other new ventures? Completely different areas.
Yes, actually. On the value-added services, or VAS front, they've launched nationwide courier pickup and delivery services.
Courier services, like logistics.
Yeah, in partnership with Delivery.
That's an interesting addition.
It is. It really rounds out that idea of being a digital convenience hub, doesn't it? You can do your banking, access government forms, and send a parcel, maybe all through the same local BLS touchpoint.
It does paint a picture of a very integrated local service point.
Okay.
That gives us a great sense of their operations and strategy. Let's look under the hood a bit at the financials themselves, their structure. You mentioned the IPO. How are they actually using that capital? What does it tell us about their priorities?
All right, so first, scale-wise, at the end of June, their network had over 144,000 touchpoints. That includes those 45,000 plus CSPs within the BC segment. It's a massive network.
Okay. And the IPO funds, how much do they raise again?
The net proceeds from the fresh issue were about 278 crore rupees, or 27,774 lakhs. How they've used it so far is quite revealing.
Okay, lay it out for us.
So they had earmarked funds for a few key areas. Inorganic growth through acquisitions was one. They planned about 28.7 crores for that.
And they used it.
Fully utilized. That covers things like the Fidelis deal and likely contributes towards the sub K1 we discussed.
Makes sense given the impact acquisitions had on growth. What else?
Technology infrastructure. They plan to spend about 97.6 crores there. So far, they used about 13.2 crores.
Okay, so significant funds still available for tech investment.
Absolutely. And then there's general corporate purpose planned about 76.7 crores, used about 50.5 crores so far.
Right, so acquisitions fully funded, tech and general corporate partially funded. What's left? Was there anything else earmarked?
Yes, and this is quite interesting. They specifically earmarked about 74.8 crore rupees, that's 7,478 lakhs, for organic growth, specifically by setting up new BLS stores themselves.
Okay. And how much of that have they used?
Zero. It's completely unutilized as of June 30th.
Huh. Really? So they raised money to build stores, but haven't built any yet?
Not with that specific IPO money, it seems. It tells you something about their current priorities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they have the capital. The immediate focus seems to be leveraging acquisitions and their existing asset-light model.
Explain that asset-light part again.
It means that in many cases, the local merchants or agents own or lease the actual physical touchpoints, the shops or kiosks. BLS provides the technology, the platform, the connections, but doesn't necessarily own all the real estate.
I see. So lower capital expenditure for them to expand the network that way.
Exactly. So the unutilized funds, there's still about 84 crores left for tech, 26 crores for general corporate, plus that 75 crores for stores total unutilized is over 185 crores. It's currently parked in term deposits.
Okay. So plenty of dry powder left, especially for tech and potential future store rollouts. But the current emphasis is clearly on tech enablement and buying growth.
That seems to be the strategy. Focus on technology and targeted acquisitions as the immediate growth catalysts.
Right. So let's connect all this to the bigger picture. What does this strong performance by BLS E-Services mean when you look at the broader trends in India? How does it all fit together?
Well, this is where it really gets powerful, I think. BLS is operating right at the confluence of several massive trends in India.
Like what?
First, the demographics and economics. India is surpassing China as the most populous country, being one of the fastest-growing major economies. That creates enormous underlying demand for all kinds of services, including digital ones and banking access, especially outside the big cities.
Right. A huge potential customer base that needs these services.
Exactly. And second, the digital adoption surge is just phenomenal. We're seeing rapid growth in digital transactions across the board. The TAGR from FY19 to FY24 was almost 48%.
Nearly 50% growth year on year in digital transactions. That's huge. Any specific examples?
Oh, yeah. Look at APS, the Aadhaar-enabled payment system. Transaction value went from about 670 billion rupees in FY19 to over 3 trillion rupees in FY24.
Wow. Trillion with a T.
And UPI Unified Payments Interface, the volume growth CAGR, was nearly 80% between FY20 and FY24. It's just exploded.
Okay, so people are rapidly adopting digital payments. How do business correspondents like BLS's network fit in?
They're absolutely crucial, especially for financial inclusion. BCs now handle over 60% of transactions for basic savings bank deposit accounts, BSBDA. That's up from 55% just a few years ago.
So their role is actually increasing in importance for basic banking?
Yes, especially for reaching remote populations. The entire BC industry is projected to grow at a CAGR of 19% through FY25. They are the bridge for so many people.
So BLS isn't just riding this digital wave. They're kind of building the surfboard for a lot of people, particularly in Bharat, the non-metro areas.
That's a great way to put it. They are becoming a vital piece of the digital infrastructure for Bharat. They're enabling government initiatives like Digital India, bridging that digital divide.
Yes.
And you see it reflected in things like India's improving e-governance ranking, too. Over 80% of government services are now digitized. These are all strong tailwinds for a company like BLS.
Okay, makes perfect sense. So given this strong Q1, the favorable market wins, what are BLS's plans going forward? What's the roadmap look like for continued growth?
Well, their stated plans really reflect a commitment to doubling down on what's working in that integrated business model. They're aiming for volume-led organic growth across all three main verticals.
Right.
The BCs, eGov, and the assisted e-services.
So grow the core businesses. How?
Aggressively going after new government tenders, forging new tie-ups with more financial institutions, banks, insurance companies, NBFCs, engaging new vendors for their B2B2C offerings, improving service quality, and just generally expanding their reach.
And what about technology and acquisitions? Are they still part of the plan?
Absolutely. They explicitly mention strengthening their tech infrastructure, developing new capabilities, consolidating platforms. Investing in tech and people is key to tapping into further digitalization and improving that last-mile service experience.
And acquisitions. Still hunting.
Yes, they say they are actively scouting for strategic inorganic opportunities that offer synergy. So expect more potential deals if the right ones come along.
Seems like a balanced approach. Grow organically, invest in tech, and keep an eye out for smart acquisitions.
Exactly. And it's probably a sign of stability that their executive director and CFO, Mr. Rahul Sharma, was just reappointed for another 3 years. Shows continuity and leadership as they execute this strategy.
Right. Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, it feels pretty clear. BLS E-Services Q1 results show a company really well positioned, doesn't it? Right at that intersection of India's digital transformation and the huge push for financial inclusion.
Strategically positioned.
They're using acquisitions smartly. They've got massive operational scale. That phygital network seems to be working, delivering really impressive growth.
Yeah, they're not just growing. They're actively kind of shaping how digital access works in India, especially outside the major cities, bridging gaps, becoming essential infrastructure.
So here's a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over. We saw that BLS has that significant chunk of unutilized IPO money specifically earmarked for setting up their own DLS stores.
Right, the organic growth piece.
Given their rapid expansion through acquisition and the asset-light model so far, what innovative ways might they use that capital or perhaps other strategies to really accelerate that organic growth? How could they fully capitalize on India's digital future beyond just buying companies?
And maybe what's a key indicator you might look for in their next quarterly results, something that shows they're continuing to scale effectively, but also managing profitability alongside that rapid growth.
Yeah, something to think about.
Definitely. We encourage you to consider that broader impact, how these phygital models really empower communities and work to bridge that digital divide in a country as vast and diverse as India.